It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Midweek podcast. Thanks for tuning in, the Wednesday edition. I appreciate your time tuning in to this podcast. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to be part of it, you can hit up the comments. We'll go over those on Friday, on Spotify, on YouTube, over at seanslife.com. Thank you to the commenters. Thanks to those who reach out as well. I very much appreciate it. Okay, we've got a bunch to talk about. There was a country music discussion that happened in my house this week. I just have to talk about because I'm out of it. We will talk a little bit of dog talk, a little bit of app talk. I've got some hoops talk briefly, and Survivor. It's a big night tonight. Survivor season 48 starts tonight. I don't think, okay, do I start there? No, let's start with me being, man, let's start with a topic that, how do I want to get into this? A topic that we constantly wanted to do on the radio. This is a behind the scenes radio story for you. A topic we wanted to do on the radio, but we never could do it because it would make too many people mad. And so the way we dealt with it was hilarious because it would make other people more mad. So this discussion in my house came up this week. My wife works with Megan Maroney, country music star, one of my favorite voices in the industry right now. Or so I think, because I realized this week I've been out of it for enough years, I don't know, because with the topic I'm going to talk about, a new name came up, and I had no idea who it was. And I thought, oh, crap, I don't know a popular country music artist. I'm out of it. Anyway, she works with Megan Maroney, and the discussion came up at my house. Someone, had said Megan Maroney is the most attractive female country music artist. And I was like, well, I did just get done telling you how she has, like, my favorite voice, and I really enjoy her music a lot. And she's extremely attractive. But, number one, no. That's not correct. So this led me to remember the days on the radio when one time we discussed who the most attractive country music, the female artist was. And it's me, it's Jay, it's Kevin. It's three guys talking about this. I looked at the text line and the females turned on us that day. They were like, you guys are gross. And it was like it was just the most innocent conversation. I even think it came up because someone had said how hot at the time Luke Bryan was. And we were like, oh, yeah, it was like the perfect, it was something like the perfect match. If these two were to make a country music baby, it would be the most attractive. So we were like, here's the most attractive female artist, and we got crushed. So Kevin and I went the other way from that point on, and whenever we discussed attractiveness in country music, we only talked about the guys. And then, of course, I could tell you the guys who are going to text and like, what is this? What's going on here? You guys only talk about hot guys. They didn't get the joke, and they I don't know how they laughed at the show a lot, but we never talked about who the most attractive female in country music was from that point on because we got crushed by the female listeners for some reason for saying which female artist we thought was the most attractive. Well, I don't have the text line here now, so I feel a little more comfortable doing the radio segment we wanted to do for 15 years. But I learned today a new name, and this new name is going to make my list, by the way. A name I had never heard of when I was piecing together the top 3 most attractive country music artists right now to see if Megan Maroney was top 3. She's not. The name that came up today, we'll give you the 3. Number 3, the new name I didn't know about, but after a bit of research, you can't leave her off the list. Ella Langley. I don't know if she's successful. I don't know if she has good music out. I don't know. Her song, she had a song with Riley Green, the most attractive male country artist. She had a song out with him, and that song I think was starting right when I left radio. So I never really got into that song. Ella Langley, number 2, Kelsey Ballerini, and number 1, with Runaway, Casey Musgraves. I mean, I don't even really know how it's close there. I don't really know. The Megan Maroney thing came up, and it was like, who could be more attractive? I said Casey Musgraves, and I thought, I don't really know how you can argue this. Anyone. So there it is. There's the segment we could never do on the radio. I've done it on the podcast now. I should have had Kevin on to do it, but he's still on the radio. So I feel like if he did it on here and someone heard it, they would text the text line and say, you pig. And I don't need that from my guy Kev today. So instead, Kevin, I hope if you listen to this, go on the air tomorrow and do the top 3 hottest guys in country music again, because that always made me laugh. And Riley Green is the answer right now. Okay, that's how it is. And he's, I think, dating Megan Maroney or something like that. I'm out of it, dude. I'm out of it. I wish I was more in it. I loved being in it. Megan Maroney is a babe, though, just for the record. Again, for those of you who hear everything opposite, and if she's not in the top 3, then she's dead. No, she's an absolute babe. Okay, speaking of babes, Jeff Probst is going to be on TV tonight. Season 48 of Survivor starts. Oh, let's go. We've had a couple really good seasons of Survivor. And I'm hoping it continues tonight. We've got our regular yearly draft going on. My biggest mistake in life was getting out of the Bill Simmons Survivor League pick'em, because at the time when I was in it, it was $100 buy-in and I didn't have $100. So I had to be out of Bill Simmons and Cousin Sal's league in the mid-2000s while they would talk in this chat thread about Lost and Survivor, 2 of my favorite things. And I had to leave it because when the time came around for the season to start, at that moment I didn't have $100. And they were like, well, if you don't have $100, you're out. And I thought, fair. So I'm not in the Bill Simmons pick'em anymore for Survivor, but I am in the one with Tony, Liz, Pat, Ashley, my wife Anna. We are in it. And so we randomly picked names before the season started. And we actually, as of Wednesday morning, we still have 3 more picks to go before we round it all out, including mine. I'm coming off a nice win last year. It's fun because it's all based off of their pre-season interviews. So when I'm looking at this season, I'm basing it off of the pre-season interviews. I think there's a good mix of people this year. It looks like if you look at it, the variety, at least on pictures and the interviews they have, and I'm looking at the one on Entertainment Weekly, it's a good variety. Now, early going in, and I can take this back at any moment because we haven't seen an episode yet, I'm intrigued with this guy, Justin Piappi, okay? From Winthrop, Massachusetts, 29-year-old pizzeria manager. I'm in on this, right? A pizzeria manager. The job says it all to me. But as I was going through his interview, he's a big fan of Tyson. Anyone says they're a big fan of Tyson, that's already a red flag because there's only one Tyson. So trying to be Tyson is already a recipe for disaster. He's an all-time legend in Survivor, so that made me worried. But his favorite hobbies, horse racing, listening to sports talk radio, and cooking, especially pizza. The horse racing into listening to sports talk radio is a wild about face. I understand horse racing is in the world of sports, but working in sports radio for 10 years, 8 years, doing a sports radio show for 7, 8 years. We talked about horse racing when the Triple Crown was happening, and mainly you talked about it as long as there was a horse that had won the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown and was going for the Triple Crown. That was it. So I love it. Horse racing, listening to sports talk radio. His pet peeve is not recycling something. His pet peeve, pants without pockets. His pet peeve, people who interrupt someone when they are trying to make a point. I love it. His accomplishment he's proud of, he was the youngest legislative aide in the history of Massachusetts State House. This guy has it. This guy's got it. He's got my interest going into week 1. Now, he could be a total dud. Justin Piappi could, and I could be out. But going in, I'm in. That's who I'm cheering for early. We'll have the full report on Friday on who I liked and who I will be cheering for moving forward. But going in, Justin Piappi is going to be the horse I attach the carriage to for this season of Survivor. Get in on it. It's such a good show. Survivor is amazing. Set it to record. Get on to CBS.com tomorrow. Watch the episode on Thursdays when they're released to the internet. You need to check it out. It's good. We've got a dog problem in our house. I don't know how to deal with it. I'm assuming it's old age or something that Jovi ate. She is pooping and peeing in the house now. It's not good. And it's a lot. To the point where now she's got to be caged a lot of the time. And when that dog is caged, she barks the entire time. So I don't really know what we're supposed to be doing here. This is a cry for help right now. So Casey Musgraves, if you're listening, please respond with what you're supposed to do in this situation. But it's been bad. If you leave Jovi alone for more than an hour, which you need to do because we live in a house with 3 kids and I can't babysit a dog all day, she pees somewhere or she'll poop somewhere or she'll puke somewhere. Something happens. There's something that happens with Jovi on the carpet somewhere in the house that you then have to find and clean. And now you've got 3 kids yelling at you and you're like, well, I've got to clean this up. And the dog's barking and it's a whole thing. So I don't know where we're at with Jovi right now, but it's been a bit stressful. and I am a little concerned about moving forward with this. But if anyone has had this happen with a dog, is that an old age thing? Is this where we're getting to? I mean, she's 14, 15 years old. Ugh. Okay, two last things for you here before we wrap up the midweek podcast. Quick sports thing. Last night was a basketball night. I've got two basketball things for you. Last night was Luka, the game against the Mavericks. I love how they called it, the national media called it the revenge game. Mavericks, Lakers. Luka looked great. Luka had a triple-double. Lakers only win by like 8 points. They should have won by more, honestly. I thought it was good. I thought it was a great game, great atmosphere, very fun to hear the storylines. I got to be honest with you. I think the Lakers are really, really good. But beating the Mavericks in LA by less than 10 when the Mavericks don't have AD, I don't know, that's the most amazing thing that's ever happened in basketball. I think they're good. I think the Lakers are good. As we just monitor this trade and getting Luka Doncic on the Lakers and what's that mean? I think obviously the Lakers have gotten better. I think it's going to take a while to click, but I don't know that I'm sold yet on saying national champions or NBA champs. Celtics are still really good. That hurts to say. The Oklahoma City Thunder are really, really good. You can't breathe on Shea without him going to the free throw line. So he's going to get 60 points of free throws a game just on top of the rest of their scoring. And then you've got the Nuggets, who are still the Nuggets. So there's still some really heavy hitters out there that I think if you just look at them, you go, that's a better team than the Lakers. But we've got a couple weeks here now, about a month and a half, to really enjoy watching the Lakers team go from what they are right now to where they could be going into the postseason. It's really fun. It's good for sports fans, and it's very fun for watching basketball. That game last night was really fun. Austin Reeves is really good. Luka's a really amazing passer and player. LeBron is still LeBron, but he's 40 and he's still amazing. So anyways, there's that. The other thing we need to get out there, why do we still like Dick Vitale on TV? What is happening there? Why are people excited about this guy? I get it. Dick Vitale was one of my favorite TV personalities in the 90s. I could not get enough Dick Vitale. If he was on my TV, it was everything. I had his book. I bought his book, or I asked for it for Christmas. It was a great read. Whatever the book was about him in the 90s, great read. He is an all-time great broadcaster. It is 2025. We do not need Dick Vitale on TV anymore. Period. He was great in the 90s. He was pretty good in the 2000s. Why do we have a problem in the sports world with media of letting guys go and getting new people in? What is the deal with that? And it only is on like that side of things. Nobody wants a 100-year-old player on their team. Once these players start to get old, you're out. You need the new blood. Why did that not work in the media side? It needs to be done. So I've always thought this with what's his name? Onions. Whatever his name is. Bill Rafferty. He's the worst. There needs to be an age, just like with driving, where we need to move on. In a respectful way. We appreciate everything you meant for the sport, Dick Vitale. You were truly a trendsetter, truly great for college basketball. An icon. Belongs in the Hall of Fame for whatever the Hall of Fame in basketball is. He's a legend. But it's 2025 and it needs to be done. I don't get why we hang on for dear life to somebody who is hanging on for dear life to life. Okay, there's that. Can we wrap the podcast up today? I need to click a button. Where is it?
Kelly's, what are you into?
Duolingo is really something I dig. Duolingo is something I'm loving. And I've got to give a shout out to this guy, to Seth, whoever Seth is. I don't know what Seth this is. I know a couple Seths. I don't know what Seth it is. Duolingo, I'm on a 237-day streak. Haven't missed doing the app in 237 days. I do feel like it is helping me with Spanish. If I had gone to school for 237 days to learn Spanish, I would be in much better shape. But this is just 10, 15 minutes a day of an app that lets you read Spanish words and put together Spanish sentences and look at how verbs are conjugated. It is a 1/20th as effective as going to school. Maybe less, but it is helping my Spanish. It is making me think in Spanish more. The repetition on stuff is getting in my head where I'm feeling more comfortable with Spanish again. It's a really cool app. I really like it. Now, the one thing I wanted to bring up with it is, and the reason I wanted to give the shout out to Seth, there is a free version that I had that's great, right? So you go through, and as you work through these problems, you have 5 lives for a normal free user. You get 5 lives. So when you make a mistake, you lose a life. So if you're going through a 15-question quiz, which is like average for these things, and you make a mistake, you lose a life. If you eventually and these lives refresh like once every 4 hours. You get one once every 4 hours. So they're precious commodity. And when you're out of them, you're out of them until they restock. Just like a lot of the phone games. You guys all know what I'm talking about here. We know how they work. And so it is great, but it does limit for a free user how often you're in the app, because you'll lose your 5 lives and then you're like, well, dang it, now I have to wait forever, and you'll just forget about the app for a while because it's frustrating. I don't know what happened here, but someone named Seth put me on their family plan for the Duolingo Max, which has unlimited lives, so you can just use the app. And I don't know how much it costs him a month, but he's got me and 4 other people in this family. I don't even know who it is. So shout out to that guy. I don't know how that happened, but what a community. What a win right there. I am on this thing all the time now because I don't know when this will end. I don't know when he's going to realize, who did I invite to be in my family plan? I don't know when that's going to happen. But for now, I'm in it all the time. And if you can access Duolingo Max, this app is a must download. With the free version, it is a good download, but it is rather frustrating when you run out of lives. It gets really frustrating to know you have to wait a while to get back in it, to the point where it was starting to bother me a lot. And the only thing that was keeping me involved was the fact I had a really long streak going, and I just wanted to see how long I could go before I missed a day with the app. Now I'm in it all the time, now that I can do it at will, free to make as many mistakes as I want while I'm learning. Duolingo, shout out to you. Okay, I gotta go. Thank you. We got an hour till my workday starts, so I gotta go get ready for that. Thank you.